It started before the sun was fully up. Jerusalem was just beginning to wake. Merchants were opening their shops. Children were running through the streets. Everything looked completely normal, except for one woman. She wasn't walking. She was being dragged. Her hands shook. Tears covered her face. People shouted insults. Some picked up stones. Others demanded justice. She knew exactly what was happening. She wasn't going home. She wasn't going to prison. She believed this was the day she was going to die. The religious leaders dragged her through the crowd until they reached Jesus. He was teaching, when suddenly the shouting interrupted everything. One man stepped forward. "Teacher, this woman was caught in the act of adultery." The crowd became silent. Then came the question. "The law of Moses says she should be stoned. What do you say?" It wasn't just a question. It was a trap. If Jesus showed mercy, they would accuse him of ignoring God's law. If he approved the execution, his message of compassion would be questioned. Every eye turned toward Jesus. The woman lowered her head. She couldn't even look up. She was waiting for the first stone. But Jesus didn't answer. Instead, he bent down and began writing in the dust. The crowd became impatient. "What are you doing? Answer us." Still, Jesus remained silent. Then, he stood up. He looked directly at the crowd and said one sentence that has echoed through history. "Let any one of you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone." Then Jesus bent down again and continued writing in the dirt. No shouting, no argument, just silence. The people looked at the stones in their hands. Then, one by one, a stone hit the ground. The oldest men walked away first. Then the younger ones, one after another, until the crowd was gone. The woman still hadn't moved. She was expecting death. Instead, she found herself standing alone with Jesus. Jesus looked at her, not with anger, not with disgust, not with shame, with compassion. He asked softly, "Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?" She looked around. The stones were gone. The angry voices were gone. The people who wanted her dead had disappeared. She whispered, "No one, Lord." Then Jesus said words that still change lives today. "Neither do I condemn you. Go and leave your life of sin." Notice something. Jesus didn't pretend. Her sin didn't matter, but he also refused to let her past be the end of her story. Grace came first. Transformation came next. That's the gospel. Not condemnation. Not permission. Grace that changes hearts. Maybe today you're carrying shame. Maybe nobody knows what you've done. Or maybe everyone knows. Maybe you believe God could never forgive you. Maybe you've convinced yourself that you've gone too far. This story says otherwise. The woman deserved condemnation. Instead, she met Jesus. The crowd defined her by her worst mistake. Jesus saw A person worth saving. Maybe you've been listening to the voices of shame for years. Maybe you've replayed your failures over and over. But listen carefully. If Jesus could offer a new beginning to that woman, he can offer a new beginning to you. Grace isn't pretending. Sin doesn't matter. Grace is Jesus saying, your past doesn't have to own your future. Whatever you've done, whatever you've become, whatever you're ashamed of, bring it to Jesus. Because the cross was always bigger than your worst mistake. If you believe, Jesus still offers new beginnings. Comment, Jesus set me free. Red heart like this video. Share it with someone who believes they're beyond forgiveness. Subscribe for powerful Bible stories that strengthen your faith. And remember, the crowd wanted to end her story. Jesus gave her a new beginning